everyone hear me? Yes? Okay, happy Sunday. We made it through the week, which is good. Welcome to Kitsap Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. Whoever you are and wherever you come from, this hour, we here are one gathered congregation and all are welcome. Please rise in body or spirit to join in singing of our musical call to worship. Excuse me, it's so handy to have water right here. Love will guide us. Hymn number 131 in our gray hymnal, Singing the Living Tradition. The words will appear on the screen.
Love will guide us, peace has tried us, hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night. If you cannot sing like angels, if you cannot speak before thousands, you can give from deep within you. You can change the world with your love. Love will guide us, peace has tried us, hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night.
Good morning once again. My name is Erin Haver, and I use she, her pronouns. I've been attending KUUF for a little over 2 years with my daughter, Lucy. I'm really known as Lucy's mom. That's who I am. During which time I've served on several committees as well as the board. I have brown hair that extends slightly past my shoulders. I'm wearing a black dress and a jean jacket, which is like the uniform for KUUF during the summer. Okay. We welcome our guest speaker this morning, Reverend Ricky Barlow. Reverend Ricky is an ordained minister of the American Baptist Churches USA. He serves as the planned giving representative for the American Baptist Foundation. He lives in Lake Forest Park with his wife, with whom he shares 3 daughters and a son. Included among the many community boards on which he has served was Rainbow Lodge, where many UU ministerial retreats are held and some folks at KUF have stayed. If you're visiting this morning, please participate as you feel comfortable. If you're here in person, fidget toys are available as well as a rocking chair for any sensory needs or to get out any wiggles. And we also have assisted living devices. Those are available. You can see an usher for those if need be. And you're also invited to stay afterwards for the potluck, and we have a listening circle after that as well. Many members of the congregation attend online. If you're visiting online today, we welcome you to introduce yourself in a chat. Throw an emoji in there because we love emojis. More announcements about KUF fellowship activities are available in the weekly newsletter, The Candle, as well as in the insert in your order of service. Today, I already said that. Today after the service, there are 2 events, the potluck and then the listening circle. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's take a moment now to silence any devices that you have, whether it be a phone or a watch. And then please join me in taking a few centering breaths. I have to tell you, sometimes paper is better than technology because my document keeps getting bigger and smaller and bigger and smaller. I'm going to print out paper next time. Okay. We acknowledge that the land on which we gather is the Aboriginal territory of the Suquamish people. Expert fishermen, canoe builders, and basket weavers, the Suquamish live in harmony with the lands and waterways along Washington's central Salish Sea, as they have for thousands of years. Here, the Suquamish live and protect the land and waters of their ancestors for future generations, as promised by the Point Elliott Treaty of 1855. Our opening words were written by Catherine McTeague. In this home, we bring our hunger for awakening. We bring compassionate hearts and a will towards justice. Into this home, we bring the courage to walk on after hard losses. Into this home, we bring our joy and gratitude for ordinary blessings. By our gathering, we bless this place. In its shelter, we know ourselves blessed. This morning, we welcome Marcy Mathis to come up and light our chalice, and she's going to share a few words of farewell with us. Marcy has been a beloved member of KUUF for decades. Join me now in lighting the chalice. If you have your own chalice at home, please light it as we read our chalice lighting words written by Peter Semjowski. May this flame we light remind us that every one of us can bring the light of love to the world. May this clear flame be a symbol that every heart can burn bright with joy, peace, and harmony. May the wisdom of ages speak to us through the flame and stay in us. Every one of us can be a blessing to the world.
So saying goodbye is the hardest part of moving. I signed the membership book here in the fall of 1984, and since then I've had many roles on the board, and probably one of my bigger and lesser known claims to fame is that I was the treasurer that took us from paper ledgers to Quicken. A long time ago. One of the biggest things I want to say to everybody is I thank you for all the support through everything from my first days as an engineering student, and then my divorce and coming out, and more recently the loss of my partner, Cal. You've been here for me through a lot. I grew up as a Unitarian Universalist, but this place is where I've been able to live my faith. And I appreciate all of you, so thank you. I'll be around for a couple more Sundays. This is kind of the formal goodbye, but you'll have a chance to see me maybe another time or two. So thank you.
Love you, Marcy.
Good morning. My name is Eric Howlett. I serve in a variety of roles here at KUF, including as a member of the Board of Trustees as the Vice President. On behalf of the entire fellowship, it's my pleasure to say thank you to Marcy and to present her with the chalice made by Brian Watson as a symbol of our gratitude for long years of membership, her tireless efforts, and the tech team for providing multimedia Sunday services, connecting with our online fellowship. As you go forward, moving closer to your family, we hope this also is a connection back to the KUF family and the love and support we have for you.
I remember Quicken. I remember that before QuickBooks. Okay, Please join me in the spoken affirmation. The words will appear on the screen. We gather as a caring community, seeking life's deeper meanings. We value diversity and affirm the worth of all living things. We strive to speak truth in love, to act for justice, to grow in spirit, and to care for the earth. We celebrate with open hearts and minds the creative power that sustains and transforms us. Now, please rise in body or spirit to join in the singing of hymn 1012, When I Am Frightened, in our teal hymnal, Singing the Journey.
When I am frightened, will you reassure me? When I'm uncertain, will you hold my hand? Will you be strong for me? Sing to me quietly. Will you share some of your stories with me? If you will show me compassion, then I may learn to care as you do. Then I may learn to care. When I am angry, will you still embrace me? When I am thoughtless, will you understand? Will you believe in me? Stand by me willingly. Will you share some of your questions with me? If you will show me acceptance, then I may learn to give as you do. Then I may learn to give. When I am troubled, will you listen to me? When I am lonely, will you be my friend? Will you be there for me? Comfort me tenderly. Will you share some of your feelings with me? If you will show me commitment, then I may learn to love as you do. Then I may learn to love.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. You sounded awesome. My name's Liz Roberts. I'm in my 50s. I have dark hair, wear glasses, and this morning, apparently, I'm wearing the KUF summer outfit. Mine does have flowers on it, though. Before I read the story to you, which I'm really excited, and many of you know, I'll never say no when Melinda asks, will I fill in for her? I wanted to talk about why we call it Time for All Ages. I heard more than one of you this morning mention, oh, we used to call it Time for the Children or Time for the Kids. And I, as an educator and a librarian, I want to share with you my perspective on that just briefly. Time for All Ages is because the wisdom and power of literature to touch hearts is amazing. I saw this in the classroom for 33 years. I used to teach sixth graders how to write by reading picture books. I know high school teachers do this, I know college teachers do this, and now as a person who works at the public library, the power of story to touch our hearts is not bound by age. So, time for all of you, every one of you, we're doing it. All right, this summer, our children are participating in something that maybe you wish you were participating in. It's called Can Do Summer. It's an exploration of curiosity and imagination and facing challenges. Maybe you have some of those, I do, with an open mind and flexibility. Don't you like the sound of that? Open minds and flexibility? Today, they're going to be exploring making blanket forts and talking about what community is. If you sneak out, I won't tell anyone. Listen now as I read My Rainy Day Rocket Ship, written by Marquette Shepard and illustrated by Charlie Palmer. Mom says it's too rainy to play outside today, so I'll have to find my fun another way. I could get in some laughs with inside toys, cars, and games that bring much joy. But I've been there and done that stuff. Today, I'll make something really tough. Like a whole new world in a different place. A galaxy off in outer space. I'll need a rocket to get me there. How about this rocking chair? And I'll need a super launching pad. This will require some tools from Dad. A cardboard box and a bunch of socks. These will surely serve me well on this mission. I cannot fail. Now let me see. About a spacesuit. These swimming trunks and goggles should do. Of course, astronauts need a flag. Perhaps I can use Mom's old dish rag. Now, if I can just get Mom to turn off the light, this astronaut's crew is ready for flight. Dad does a countdown from behind the couch. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mom makes sure I don't feel an ouch. Zoom, 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 all the way from the living room, down the hall, riding on a broom. Prepare for landing on planet X, Y, Z. It's a safe arrival in my BED, also known as the land of Z's. My rainy day rocket ship. So in the weeks ahead, may all of you, and I do mean all, short ones, middle-sized ones, taller ones, kids and adults alike, I hope you find a can-do spirit. A can-do spirit that includes openness and flexibility when faced with challenges, because if there's one guarantee in life, there will be challenges. Just like the little astronaut and his family in the story, may you be able to imagine a new reality for you and just see where it can take us.
Thank you. Vote for your library. It's coming up. And I have to say, I've known Liz for a long time. She really is that awesome all the time. She's just so great. And you too, Brian. Yeah. Yes, it rubs off, yeah. Okay. As a religious community together, we can do the work of many. By sharing in the sacred act of giving, we transform gratitude into generosity towards our mission. One way that our mission inspires us to act on our shared UU values is to share our weekly offering with a local nonprofit agency, providing services within our larger community. Our charitable giving recipient for the month of July is the Bremerton Food Line. If you'd like your offering to go to this month's charitable giving recipient, Bremerton Food Line, please use the envelope inside your order of service. And if you need an envelope, one of the ushers will bring it to you. Just raise your hand. And if you'd like your offering to go to KUUF, just pop that inside the basket. You can also use a QR code that's on your order of service, or it's on the screen. Let there be an offering to strengthen and sustain our beloved community with a gift of music from our pianist today, Jerry Searle. was lovely. Please rise and body your spirit to join me in singing our children up to their classes. The words, "May you go with joy," will appear on your screen. Now's the time for joys and sorrows. When shared together, our joys are amplified and our sorrows lessened. The first joy and sorrow is from Genevieve Evett. Starting tomorrow, she has a 2-week job as a director for preschool acting camp with Sea Stock. Next is from Liz Roberts and Brian Watson. Our joy is spending Friday in the woods together, walking and listening to the sounds of a beautiful forest. Ooh, and there was lunch and ice cream as a bonus. That's good on its own, and then you add nature, yes. As we light one last candle for those joys and sorrows that are still too tender to share, please join me in a moment of prayer or intention. In the spirit of community in which we find strength and common purpose, we share our joys, our sorrows, our hopes, and dreams. We have turned our minds and hearts toward one another in trust, giving love, seeking comfort, and celebrating together. We are part of the web of life that makes us one with humanity, one with all the universe. In all the moments of our lives, for those loved ones and events that share this morning, and for those who yet hold in the silence of for those we yet hold in the silence of our hearts, we are truly grateful for the love and support of this beloved community. May the spirit of life and love bring peace to us all. Amen and blessed be. Please remain seated as we sing hymn number 123, Spirit of Life, in our gray hymnals. The words will appear on your screen. Now please join me in a moment of reflection, followed by our post-reflection music, an excerpt from Schubert, Impromptu number 3 in G-flat major.
Talk about technology. Good morning. My name is Rick Barlow, and I have black hair. I do wear glasses, and I'm wearing a basic black suit with a white shirt. I apologize, I did not get the memo about the denim jacket because I could have done that. In addition, I want to say that my pronouns are he, his, and him, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to be here today. Allow me to say again, it's good to be here. But the fact of the matter is, if we're honest, it's good to be anywhere. And I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge my friend Beth Wilson, who I've known for a number of years. We, as it's been said, served on the Rainbow Lodge board. And I say that because I want you to know, being a board member, I was also the donor advisor for the lodge, which I shared with her, which means that it was not transactional only. It certainly and always is relational also. And so, Beth, I thank you because you need to know, she did extend the invitation a number of times. And I was just curious enough that I had to say yes to see what's going on. I should also add, in terms of what I'm wearing today, I'm wearing a stole of many colors. And for those of you who can't see me and are listening, know that I sport a tan year-round. And it is not orange, and it has not been sprayed on. But again, it is a pleasure to be here, and I'm extremely excited about this opportunity. So as we continue in this worship experience, as we gather this morning in this circle, in this gathering of fellowship, I invite us to just pause. Pause and breathe in this sacred place. I want you to pause and feel the presence of those around you, those seen, those unseen, those that are known, and those that are new. We are here not just as individuals, but we're here as community, the beloved community, if you will, joined by spirit, by hope, and by a shared longing to live purposeful and compassionate lives. Today in this space, let us unite our hearts and our minds. Today, our message that I am going to share with you today, and I do indeed consider it a privilege, we will explore what it means to live with open hands and a full heart. The nexus, the connection between generosity and purpose. And not just in our lives, but in the community also, and the world at large. Now, I got to make a couple confessions throughout this sermon. Number one, that me being the curator of many thoughts and ideas, I'm being ever so mindful of the many sacred writings, the Holy Writ, if you will, that bears witness, and specifically in Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 9, it is recorded that there is nothing, absolutely nothing new under the sun. This essentially means that everything has been seen or done before. and there's nothing truly original under the sun. This expression highlights the cyclical nature of life, history, human experience, and it suggests that while circumstances may change, the fundamental aspects of existence remain constant. Now, you need to know that if I were in a Black Baptist church right now, I would tell you that your amen goes right there. Now, that being said, Liz, one of my many mentors and masterminds that I consult through writings and sermons is the influential mystic, educator, and philosopher, the Reverend Dr. Howard Thurman. Yeah, I thought that might resonate with you all just a little bit. You see, his writings and teachings emphasize a deep connection between personal fulfillment, spiritual awakening, and the active engagement with the world through generosity and service. Dr. Thurman addressed the interconnectedness of generosity and purpose, and on purpose, as he would have said, finding your calling. Finding your calling. Dr. Thurman urged individuals to discover what truly ignites their spirit and to pursue it with dedication. In a widely quoted statement, he advised, and I quote, "Don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive and go and do that. Because what the world needs is people who have come alive." End quote. Understand again, he emphasized the importance of listening to, and I quote again, the sound of the genuine within, describing it as the only true guide you'll ever have. Dr. Thurman believed that having a strong sense of purpose, even if it's not a grand vision, gives one meaning and helps us to navigate the challenging situations that come into our lives. Having purpose is having something that we are committed to, something that is deeply important and meaningful. He talked about life's inherent purpose. He perceived that a hard purposefulness and a determination to live at the core of existence, suggesting that life itself strives for meaning. It strives for meaning and fulfillment. On generosity, Dr. Thurman would say that generosity is more of a way of life. That generosity is more than giving. That it's a way of life that involves finding the lost, healing the broken, feeding the hungry, rebuilding communities, and bringing about peace. And all of this is rooted in empathy and connection. I want to say right here, too, that I'm also pleased to know that this month of July, the proceeds, the offerings that are being offered are going to support the food scarcity and those who are certainly in need. I was telling Beth earlier that it was June 20th, or Juneteenth, 1920, when at our church we started what's known as God's Groceries. I was a board member for the Seattle Baptist Union, and we had donated some money to ministry to buy a refrigeration truck. And as a good board member, I wanted to go see exactly how they were using those monies. So I showed up, and to my surprise, I was amazed at the impact it was having. And please understand, this particular ministry didn't start doing the food distribution during the pandemic. They have been doing it for over a decade. But I wanted to check it out. And as I checked it out, I got caught up. I couldn't help but get involved. And so at some point, I said to the pastor, Pastor, would you be willing to duplicate this at our church? Can we do this at our church? And he thought about it, and he said yes. And I was so glad that he did, which it gave birth to what's known now as God's Groceries. And what was interesting is I went to the church, and I told them what the Lord had laid on my heart to do. And I had many people say, well, Reverend Ricky, if you need any help, just let me know. As I told Beth earlier, when I thought about them saying, just let me know that if they needed me to let them know, then they didn't. They weren't the ones to do the work. But interesting enough, as we began to do it, and this is all in line even with today's message, and certainly you can tell it's not scripted because I'm not looking at a manuscript, but interesting enough, we start doing it on the outside in the parking lot of the church. And the people who volunteered were not members of the church. But what was even more interesting is that our neighbors began to come and participate, which told me this, that they were not at least giving a hoot about what was going on inside the church until they saw something going on the outside of the church. And I think that for you all is something that you all have strived to do in your existence, and I'm ever grateful. I'm ever grateful for that. Now, again, as we get back in line with the script, on generosity, Dr. Thurman would say that generosity, as I said before, is more of a way of life. Again, we find that feeding the hungry, rebuilding communities, all of this is rooted in empathy and connection. Now, in my faith tradition, to help make my point, we would, and I will, now reference the story of Jesus at the age of 12 to my Christian friend who's already acknowledged, to make sure that she knew that I was not standing alone. Not that I ever felt standing alone anywhere I go. But at the same time, in the scripture, it bears witness when Jesus, at the age of 12, in his response to his parents after they had found him in the temple. Some of you are probably already familiar with that particular story that's recorded in Luke chapter 2, verse 49. They asked him, what was he doing in the temple? And he responded, I must be about my Father's business. Now, if you allow me to use my sanctified imagination, and I will, I'm sure they looked at him with the side eye. And many of you remember the TV show Different Strokes? Instead of saying, what you talking about, Willis? They probably said, what you talking about, Jesus? You see, because his earthly father was a carpenter. But he was not referring to his father Joseph. He was referring to his heavenly Father, the master carpenter. And his business is building lives and mending broken hearts. This, my friend, signifies commitment and purpose, empathy and connection. Dr. Thurman, when talking about generosity, highlighted the interconnectedness of all beings and the importance of extending compassion and love, even to those who may be different or even challenging to understand. Understand that when we open our hearts to others, barriers of hatred and indifference can be removed, and we can overcome them. So I guess that's begging the question, what does it mean to live with open hands and a full heart? And I am so glad that you've asked. The story is told of this woman who lived in a small village near the edge of the desert. Every day she walked to the edge of the dry land and scattered seeds, just a handful, before returning home. Her neighbors mocked her. Why bother, they asked. Nothing grows here. The soil is too dry. The sun is too hot. You're wasting your time. The woman smiled gently and said, maybe so, But I believe something might grow. And I would rather be someone who plants than someone who just walks away. Years later, as the desert winds softened and the small green shoots pushed through the soil, her village began to see what she had always known, that giving, even when results are uncertain, is an act of faith. And when done with love, it changes everything. Now, we all know that generosity in our culture is often equated with dead presidents, with money. And yes, giving financially is a very important form of generosity. But generosity is so much more. Generosity is a posture, if you will. Generosity is a way of living with open hands and an open heart. Now, understand, generosity can look like something as simple as someone, or you giving someone your full attention in this very, 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 very distracted world. It seems like every time I turn on the television, the news is so bad, I have no other choice but to turn it off because it is a distraction. Generosity can look like offering your time when you would rather just rest, when you would rather just chill. Generosity can often look like forgiving someone who never said, "I'm sorry." Generosity can look like speaking up when staying silent will be much more easier. Generosity may even look like sharing joy, even when your own heart is heavy. At its core, generosity says, what I have, I share. Not because I have excess, more than I need, not because it's expected, but because I'm sharing who I am. It is a part of me. It's a part of my DNA. Now, you need to know that in my preparation for sharing with you today, I've learned and discovered that the Unitarian Universalism that we affirm, the inherent worth and dignity of every person, and generosity is one way we embody that worth, and it turns to belief in action. It says, you matter, and I will act accordingly. Now, here's the Ricky Barlow interpretation. You not only talk the talk, but you walk the walk. You walk the walk. I guess right here I would tell you to look over at your neighbor and say, walk, neighbor, walk, walk, walk the walk. And understand, my friends, that's generosity. Okay, the question then becomes, what about purpose? What gives us purpose? Now, I know your faith, the Unitarian Universalist faith, doesn't hand you a set of doctrines to memorize or a fixed path to follow. Instead, it asks you to undertake the more courageous task of discovering your own purpose. And once discovered, live it out. And I'd even say, live it out loud. This speaks to the importance of discovering and pursuing authentic passions and gifts which can be a force for a positive change in the world. Now, purpose at its essence answers the question, why am I here? And I don't mean in a cosmic sense, not in the by and by, in the sky, but today, in this moment, in this life, right now. Purpose, and that's the question, and I'm asking you now, your purpose, what is it that tugs on and calls to your heart? What is it that tugs on and calls to your heart? As Dr. Thurman urged earlier, what brings you alive? What are the injustices that you just cannot ignore anymore? What gifts do you have that you can offer? Now, for some, but not for everybody, purpose can be rooted in nurturing others, talking about family, children, neighbors, those who are less fortunate even. For others, it may lie in confronting injustices and building justice, and not just for yourself, but for others as well. It can be in creating art. It can be in healing wounds or cultivating even beauty. And know this, your purpose doesn't have to be flashy. It doesn't have to be flashy. It doesn't have to draw attention to yourself. So let me be as straight as 6 o'clock. It just has to be authentic. It just has to be real. Now, here's a sidebar. Purpose is not static. Hello. Purpose is not, it shifts as our lives shifts. What may have gone and been your purpose 5 years ago may not be your purpose today. It may not be what you're called to now. And guess what? That's okay. That's okay. Now, the invitation is not to have a perfect sense of purpose, but to keep asking and listening within, what is it mine to do now in this season, in this time? Now, there is a nexus, a connection, a link, if you will, between generosity and purpose, and that's where the magic happens. If I had the kids still in the room, the little one, I'd say, abracadabra, poof. This is how it happens. Generosity is how purpose takes root. So listen, purpose is the why, and the generosity is the how. You see, you may believe in justice, but justice without action is just sentiment. It's just talk, and it's not the walk. And understand again that you may feel called to care for others, but care without giving of self, of time, of energy is just intention. And we know that many a road have been paved with good intentions. And hopeful, this one's free, hopeful expectation for the future is not a license for idleness in the present. We must do what we can while we can. When we live with purpose, generosity becomes a natural flow, the overflow, if you will, the outpouring, not something forced, but that which is organic. And when we talk about the walk, and when we walk the walk, when we practice generosity, our sense of purpose deepens and one fuels the other. And then there's this sacred paradox, and that is the more we give ourselves away in meaningful ways, the more we find ourselves, the more we serve something greater and larger than ourselves, and not for our own benefit, not for our own ego, the more our own spirit comes alive. Now, I've said all that to say this, because I know it's true. I've been on the planet just long enough to know that it's not easy. It's not easy. There are obstacles to living generously and purposefully, especially today when we live in a culture that rewards accumulation over generosity, efficiency over reflection, busyness over purpose. You see, we're told to protect our time, to protect our hearts, protect our resources. And let me be clear, yes, boundaries do matter. Saying no matters, and saying and taking care of yourself, self-care, is not you being selfish. It's okay. I'm often mindful of the fact that when you're on an airplane, what do they tell you to do? They tell you that before you go to assist someone else, make sure you have your mask on yourself. Now understand that there are barriers often to this, as I said before. That being said, we are not here to build walls, but we're here to build bridges. And when fear, exhaustion, and cynicism, and I confess I'm a recovering cynic, when those culprits try to close our hearts, We can and we should pause, just as we did in the beginning, and just breathe. And ask anew, ask again, what is mine to give? What is mine to do? You see, even our limitations, and in our limitations, we can offer something. It can be a kind word, a witness to someone in pain. We can offer something from AAA, a prayer, a poem, and even a presence. And I've discovered during my time on the planet that sometimes just showing up can make all the difference in the world. And I can't even count the number of times I visited someone in the hospital or someone who was shut in thinking I was going to encourage them, only to discover I was the one to be encouraged. And to think, I didn't even want to do it. But I'm so glad that I did. You're being here today, showing up. This fellowship is a living expression of generosity and purpose. KUFF exists because people before you gave of themselves with intention. They gave time, they gave money, they gave their talents, and even dreams. And it's just not a Sunday gathering. It's so much more than that. You all are a North Star. You are a light, a place where people can come to remember and be encouraged and be reminded about what matters and to live it out and do it. Live it out and do it together. And please remember, my friends, we can do more together than any of us can do on our own. Now, as I close, and as we prepare to return to the world as we know it, or as it will be made known beyond these walls, allow me again to ask the question, what does generosity look like in your life right now? What does it look like in your life right now? What gives your life meaning? Not 5 years ago, not 10 years ago, not someday, but now. For you see, there is Monday, there is Tuesday, there is Wednesday, there's Thursday, there's Friday, there's Saturday, and there's Sunday. But someday is not one of those days. Do what you can do now. It has been said, you don't have to save the world. You just have to say yes to your part of it. You don't have to give everything, just enough to keep the web of life strong. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to see clear enough to take the next step. And remember, the only time you fall off the bike is when you stop pedaling. So, keep pedaling, keep pedaling, keep pedaling, and know that in your pedaling, your generosity and purpose will not be in vain. Generosity and purpose, living life with an open hand and a full heart. Forsake not the world, its gifts and hate, but thy life dedicate. And I thank you so much for listening. God bless you. Thank you. At this time, we're going to ask that you rise in body and spirit to sing our closing hymn, 1057, Go Lift It Up, in our till hymnal, where the words will appear also on the monitors on my left and right, and we will sing this 3 times.
Go lift it up, guide your journey into peace and the brightness of day. Go lifted up, love bless your way. Moonlight, starlight, guide your journey into peace and the brightness of day. Lift it up, love bless your way. Moonlight, starlight, guide your journey into peace and the brightness of day.
You may be seated. After the service, we encourage you, we hope you will stay for the monthly potluck. We will need your help setting up by moving the chairs and tables in place. Also, I am to remind you that at 12 o'clock we'll be having the listening circle in the admin building for you to share your thoughts about the search for your next minister. And if you like, please bring your lunch and join the conversation in the south end of the sanctuary. South? Admin building, that's right. We did change it. Yeah, I was sticking to the script. Again, we thank you again for the opportunity to come and share with you today, and know that I do consider it an absolute privilege to be here. And I'm not saying, and I said this to Beth earlier, and take this the right way. And my being here isn't in the month of February. Some of you will get that in the parking lot, but anyway. This is wonderful as it is. Thank you. And so let us stand as we have the closing words and the chalice extinguishing at this time. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Let us receive our benediction. May we go forward with open hands and open hearts. May our lives reflect the generosity we have received. May we live our days with intention and courage. And may we never forget, yes, that our gifts, however small, help the world turn into a place toward justice, toward beauty, and toward love. Go in peace and go with purpose on purpose. Amen. Blessed be. May it be so.